Joining us now is Congresswoman Katherine Clark of Massachusetts. She's vice chair of the Democratic caucus, so hopefully, maybe we have some idea of where this deal is going. Congresswoman, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to be with you, Chair.
All right. So we've heard, I heard reasonable deal from the president. He wants something that's a down payment. He didn't mention a percentage. How does that sit with you? How does that sit with the House Democrats at this point?
Nothing coming from this president is reasonable at this point. And I can tell you that House Democrats remain unified on let's get this government open and then we can negotiate. We went to the Senate today to watch the votes to make sure that they understood that we are literally keeping our eyes on them to remind them that this is about the American people. And I can tell you the stories that I'm hearing. Just one today from a woman named Susan, who's a TSA worker, who's down to $400 in her checking account, and she doesn't know what she's going to do. And you couple that with what we're hearing from the FBI, from TSA, from the Coast Guard about the really serious national security concerns that are being created by this shutdown. It is the emperor has no clothes.
Is there anything, though, about the president sort of backing down a little bit here that says, all right, let's get this government open, let's give him something to hang his hat on?
Well, what gives me some optimism is when we were in the Senate, there's definitely a feeling that Mitch McConnell was asking Republicans not to leave and, hoping to reach out to Chuck Schumer. I don't know the details of that, but I'm hoping that coupled with this sort of movement from the president, maybe they are beginning to realize that they are putting our national security in jeopardy. They're endangering families of hardworking federal employees, and they realize that this theater of the absurd has to come to an end.
It is very possible the president, in the back of his mind, because he referenced that he has other options, is thinking still about declaring a national emergency, that maybe they take this deal, whatever you guys come up with, that he agrees to, that he still wants to do the national emergency. Is there anything you can do about that legislatively?
There isn't if he was to do that soon. I've also heard that he is still thinking about trying to do something less than a national emergency, but still take money, like one of his proposals to take disaster relief that has been given to Puerto Rico. So we're not sure what his next move is, but I can tell you that it is extremely concerning that this whole situation developed out of his trying to win approval from Ann Coulter and others and disregarded what is any kind of rational discussion around border security. Just this morning, we were with Secretary Johnson, and he told us about a part of the steel fencing that exists on the border, that because we didn't have technology, sensors, because we didn't have the personnel that is necessary to make any barrier successful, the cartels had blown a hole through it and were able to drive vehicles easily back and forth through the fencing. We need a comprehensive approach to border security. The Democrats have been waiting. We are willing to get to the table. We can make it a short time frame to keep the pressure on, but we need to open government.
All right, let me ask you two housekeeping things. The House is adjourned for the weekend. How quickly could you come back? Could you, let's say Schumer and McConnell have something, Speaker Pelosi signs off on it, how quickly could the House get back into session to open up the government?
We will be back. If something happens quickly, we will be here within 24 hours.
So everybody's on a 24-hour notice here that they know that
everybody's on notice. And if you can't make it back, people are spending the weekend.
And finally, what is the Speaker's role with Chuck Schumer right now? The reporting is Schumer and McConnell are negotiating. Well, I assume, we don't know who from the White House has got McConnell's ear. Who from Speaker Pelosi? Is she directly talking with Schumer? How does that work?
I'm sure that she is. They have been an absolute coordinated team on this. And so I'm sure she's involved in these negotiations. But I think it makes sense that the two leaders of the Senate have those negotiations. But I am absolutely certain the Speaker will be involved in any decision that is made.
Katherine Clark, I will let you go. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll hold you guys in the house 24 hours notice.
You got it.
Maybe
Thank you.
this thing ends before the weekend. Thanks very much.
Let's hope so.
All right.
All right.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.